Okay, well, welcome back to the Canadian Virtual Controllers Conference. Hopefully you've had a good opportunity to do some networking and hear some sessions. We're just going to wait another minute or so to let people know that we're here. I know there's another session that has just finished as well, so people making their way back to the main stage here. My name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. I welcome you back to the Canadian Virtual Controllers Conference. Hopefully you had a chance to network. Actually, we had another 10 minutes to the end of the event, even though there's technically half an hour left in the event. We had another 10 minutes that you can get into the networking area as well if you haven't had a chance, and also get into the expo area as well. We have lots of great exhibitors and sponsors as well here. So make sure to allocate some time at the end. I'm happy to be joined by our panelists this afternoon, and I'm going to introduce them one at a time. If you have any questions for the panel, some thoughts, issues that you want to get some other advice from, feel free to share them in the event or in the stage chat. And hopefully you've also been taking our one-click polls too. So first up is Munir Malik, is controller at Votorantim Cimentos, St. Mary Cement. Thanks very much, Munir, for being on here, and welcome. And perhaps you can start by giving a little bit of an introduction about yourself, your background, a little bit about what you do, as well as at Votorantim, and a little bit about your background as controller.
Great. Welcome to you all here. As Mark explained, I'm working with a cement manufacturing company. Professionally, I'm a CPA and working here from last good 18 months now in this role. A very challenging role itself because we have the operations in both the countries, in Canada and US. So this is a Votorantim Cimentos North American business actually is. We have the 6 plants, and we have multiple locations for the warehouse. We manufacture cement and we sell the cement to our customers. So that's the core business we have here. And being the controller, my role and responsibilities are to look after the controls, the policies, the procedures, go with the month-end closing activities, make the actual versus budget numbers every month, make the forecast and give the forecast for the rest of the years as a routine exercise for every month-end. Involved in the quarterly, half-yearly, and annual activities, assist the management here in this executives for the financial management decisions as well. Work with them on the strategy plan for the next 5 years, implement those numbers, work on the budget numbers as well, assess the tax and treasury team with their numbers as well. So all the database lies actually in my control. So I'm the one who actually leverage that information across the organization, whether it start from the sales, it starts from the freight, move from one location to another location. It has the cost, the variable cost, and the fixed cost, the cost of selling goods and SG&A. So it's all about EBITDA numbers and how it works every day. So that's the routine job which I have to do every day from morning till evening. So keep me busy actually during this pandemic as well, working from home, obviously from last more than a year now, and looking forward to go back to office as soon as possible.
I think a lot of people are. How many people do you have in your team, Munir?
So our team is not huge as it looks like from the face. We have one accounting manager at each of the location. The plant, we have 2 plants in Canada, and we have the 4 plants in the US, but 4 plants have 2 accounting managers only. So 4 accounting managers at the plant, and here at the corporate office, we have a team of 4. We have the vice president, the VP, we have the finance manager, we have the assistant controller as well. So we are the 4 people who actually work together.
Terrific. Well, thanks for being on here. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff here on the next 25 minutes or so. Aliraza is corporate controller at Konstant, and it's Konstant with a K. Ali, thanks for being here and welcome. And perhaps you can do the same, introduce yourself and a little bit about your background.
Sure. Thanks for having me. So I joined the company in 2016, and interestingly, I joined for the implementation as the project in charge for the implementation of the JD ERP software with the company. So Konstant is basically the leading manufacturer and distributor of racks, the warehousing racks, which you see normally in your warehouses and in Canadian Tire and Walmarts and things like that. We manufacture that and we sell it across the country. We are the biggest, one of the market leaders in this field. So I joined the company in 2016 to implement the JDE system because I have in my past life experience with implementation of this software, ERP software, and because I am a chartered accountant and I have a CPA Canada as well, so I have the financial background. So I was hired as the finance lead for the implementation. So it took about a little more than 2 years to implement the system across the company. We converted the whole accounting system, the general ledger, and now we are working on the manufacturing side of it. Then after the implementation was complete on the financial side, I ended up taking the transition to the corporate controller. So now I'm working as corporate controller for about more than 2 years now, and I'm about 5 years with the company now.
Okay, terrific. So definitely talk about ERP changes and implementations as we go along here. And if you have any questions on an implementation for Ali, feel free to put them in the stage or in the event chat, and I'll be happy to moderate them. So, and if you have any general questions for either Ali or Munir for the panel, feel free to do the same. So, Munir, maybe we can talk a little bit about COVID. I mean, obviously that's been the story, but maybe aside from like the issues that have been around it, because we've talked about them over the last time, but what have you learned as controller? What have you learned about yourself over the course of the last 16 months through COVID?
So most of the businesses are affected by the COVID. It's a very good question, Marc, actually. But for us, nothing has changed much. If you honestly ask me, our business has grown a lot in the last 1 year. We have a record sales last year as well. And up till now, in the first 6 months, the demand for cement is so high at the moment. So we are selling very good. We are producing at our maximum capacity as well from last 1.5 years. So the numbers and the profit number and the bottom line looks pretty good in this tough situation of COVID as well. And being the controller, the role is more than report the numbers to management, is more of a thing you need to think ahead as well, because you need to forecast what's going to happen next in the next 6 months. And in this tough, volatile situation which we are facing due to COVID, nobody can predict what's going to happen in the next 6 months. So the role of controller is quite challenging as well. So to describe what's going to be the sales volume going forward, deal with the sales team, come up with a sales number, then what the sale price would be, whether we are going to increase the price because we are selling at a very record high level. The demand for cement is so high. Obviously, we have the capacity constraint as well. We can produce to a certain level. So why not increase the price? Why not leverage from this one and get more bottom line, more good profits as well? So keep the balance between those two things. Think about it, how the cost looks like when you sell more, you produce more. Because sometimes when you sell more, you are move from your optimum level of cost to a certain cost level, and where the cost would be so high that your net impact on the profit goes down as well. So being the controller, you have to analyze different things: profit per plant, profit per product as well, and how each product behaves differently as well. So more than numbers game, and to think about the future. So that's I believe the role for the controller is. And in this COVID situation, the tough part is that we expect the policies and the procedures to be complied with. Most of the companies have the approval portals in place, which are designed in a very good manner that they follow the approval metrics, approval policies as well. But it's tough because the people are not physically present in office, in person. The approvals of papers are not available. All are happening online. Some of the approvals are getting on the Zoom meetings or Teams meeting as well. So things are challenging. The documentation part is quite tough during COVID, and being the controller responsibility, you have to take care of that as well.
Excellent. Yeah, great summary. That's great. And Ali, what's your top issue right now? Like what's going on in your role, and what are your challenges?
So I've been involved in the audit like for pretty large part of my life, but I've never thought that I will be able to get the audit done or do things from home. So last year was the first year, and when we closed after the pandemic, that was I think 18th of March, and March 31st is our year end. So that was one of the biggest worries for me, that how I'm going to get the audit done while sitting at the office, sitting at home, and the auditors are not going to be there, how we are going to provide the stuff to them. So, and that happened very well. And for very surprisingly, that it went very well. But I think one of the things which we all need to realize, that those companies who invested in the online presence as well as the security, they were the ones who were able to quickly pivot to the online life. Because one of the things is that either you have the tools and those tools are not effective, or you don't have the tools at all. So if you are in any of those situations, it's very difficult to actually pivot to online very quickly and then start doing the same things again. But fortunately, we have a very good IT team, and we have invested quite heavily in the IT excellence. So before the pandemic as well, we were one of the companies which were very heavily focused on IT, and we have the systems as well as software, hardware, whatever it is taken. So when the pandemic happened and all of us had to go home and work from home, that was really one of the things which was difficult, obviously, for everyone, because this was a new world, so to speak. But with the tools available and with the security available, we were able to very quickly adapt to the new life. Because one of the basic things which is problematic is the security, because imagine that all of your company's data is actually going over the network, and there are different people working from their homes, their own Wi-Fi's and all of that. So unless you have a proper system and the security, and you can ensure the security of the system, it's really very difficult. Mm-hmm. Although I miss working with the people and of course meeting people and having discussions and meetings and work, but with the tools available, it was really very easy to actually talk to people. You can go online. We use Microsoft Teams, so it was very easy to actually send a quick note, because emails, you don't know whether that person is online or not, he's going to see your email or not. So on chat software like Teams or any other software like that, you will be able to send you a quickly message. You can see that the other person is there, and then he or she can reply to your message. So it was really very good connectivity, which we tried to maintain after the pandemic, although we were not seeing each other on a very regular basis, but we were able to work as a team very effectively. The only problem, though, I felt where I had to get a new team member on board, which really becomes a challenge, because the other person, as one of the panelists was saying on your interview a couple of days ago, that he was not able to see his team members even. He has not met them in person. So that's one of the challenges. But with the tools available, I think the world has really changed. I could not even imagine that I can get all these things done, what I'm doing right now from home. I will be able to do it from home. So I think it's a great thing, really great thing.
Yeah, definitely a change. Definitely a change in how things are done. If you're just joining, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. I'm joined by Aliraza, corporate controller at Konstant with a K, and Munir Malik is controller at Votorantim, Cimentos, St. Mary's Cement. And if you have any questions for either of the panelists, feel free to throw them in the event or in the stage chat. So I guess coming back to Munir, and that is, you talked about going back to the office. So do you foresee some resistance from employees, and what if they don't want to come back to the office? What if they moved away? In fact, a bunch of people have moved away further from companies. So do you foresee any issues, and what are you doing about it, or what are you planning on doing? And what would you suggest to other controllers who are watching with maybe the same issues?
Yes, you are absolutely correct, Mark, in that one, because we just received our surveys from the HR about what is the expectations we have to return to office. And that's quite correct, because when the pandemic happened, lots of people have moved from Midtown to the to far location from the office, maybe more than 1 hour drive from Midtown, where the office is actually located. And it's not easy for them to commute every day to the office place as well. So the surveys went out, that right now HR is compiling the results of that. But obviously the aim is to ask the individuals and take their views, because if they have to open the office, they don't need to ask for the survey. They can just send an email that you have to come back to office from next day. But things like that, you're right, people are not feel comfortable, obviously, even after vaccinations, which is going at a good rate at the moment in Canada. They're not feeling comfortable to come out from your comfort zone. You can just wake up in the morning, and then you save your good 1 hour or maybe more than 1 hour commute time and the time to dress up for the day. And at the end of the day as well, you can save a lot of time as well. It gives you flexibility, and being human being, we all enjoys flexibility as well. So yes, when the things go back to normal, it would be difficult for many individuals to come back to office. But as Ali mentioned, we always miss the people touch. We always miss that the interaction with our colleagues. There are lots of things which we can resolve sitting in the controller roles when you go and meet with the people at the office, instead of sending email, instead of making a phone call, instead of having a Teams meeting. It's not as easy as you have grab the cup of coffee and step in the desk or the cabin of another person, talk to him and discuss lots of things. And it just gives you a human touch. You besides your professional journey, besides your professional questions, you learn each other as a different human being as well. So you know about each other as well. You build a relationship between yourself and that other colleagues, and it will help you in the long run as well. So that kind of touch is obviously being missed. And when we come back to office, I personally feel that I'm going to enjoy it, definitely.
Terrific. And thanks for sharing that. Ali, you mentioned earlier that you were involved in the implementation of JD Edwards, or JDE. Maybe you can talk about what you learned about the implementation, what you might pass on, what tips you might pass on to other people who are watching who maybe are starting an implementation or thinking about starting an implementation from your experience.
Sure. Actually, there is no silver bullet, as they say, that you can do the implementation on the first time and everybody can do it the same way. So actually, it depends from person to person, company to company, how the implementation gets done. But there are certain things which you can basically take care of before you start the process. Number one is that you need to make sure that the solution is the right solution for you, because there are many things available in the market. For a person, like if I'm an accounting person, or if I'm managing the business, it's very difficult for me to decide what I'm going to get in the market, right? There are multi-tier systems, there are first-tier system, second-tier system, third-tier system, and then there are things like QuickBooks, which you can just buy off the market and start working on it. So the ERP system is something which you need to make sure before you start actually on that journey. You need to make sure that the tool is actually the right tool for you. So if you have a consultant, or if you have an IT person, or if you have a chief technology officer or something of that sort, they are the people who need to go into that software and make sure that this is the right tool for you according to what you need. Once you have decided that this is the tool you need, it's very important that there are right people in the implementation team. Although you need the technical team, definitely, who are the IT people and the programmers and all the implementation specialists, but definitely you need someone who understands the business. So one of the challenges which I faced when I was brought on for this implementation is understanding the business, because I was a new employee in the company and I had to understand the business as well as I have to get the implementation done. But because most of the things, I mean, I'm not saying this because I'm an accountant, but most of the things actually come down to the accounting in the journal ledger. So everything, whether it's going into the sales or marketing or manufacturing, it always ends up in the accounting department. So you can understand an accountant, and Munir can second me on that, I would think so, that accountant is the best person who understands the multifunctional facets of the business. And if you know the business and if you know how you need the reporting or what the end result should be, then you are in a better position to get the implementation done. So it's very important that you have on your team, while you are doing the implementation, you have on your team all the relevant professionals. On your team, you have a finance person, you have a technical person from the IT department, then you have the technical person from the business who understand the business. Once you have all those things, then basically it starts with the gap analysis. So you basically go over your business transactions and you go over the ERP system, because ERP system is sort of something, I mean, I don't know what analogy to give, but it would be like something like you buy a shirt off the shelf and then you have to get it fitted to yourself. So this is kind of a rough analogy, but this is what it is. An ERP gives you a lot of things, but you need to get that ERP and make sure that it works for you. And that is where the understanding and the gap analysis comes in. So once you have done the gap analysis, then you start your journey with implementation, and then you go over step by step. But I think the biggest thing is that you have to have the right professionals in your implementation team. Because sometimes I've seen, like, I've done probably 3 or 4 implementations in my lifetime. Some of them failed, and some of them, the current one, I implemented that and I'm working with that, and I'm really very happy. Even the management is very happy with that. And we never came across one big thing that we said, oh, we did not think about that. So I think the planning is very, very important. You have to have the right professional on your team. And if you plan properly, the implementation can be a success.
Excellent. Great points. Great takeaways for people watching. So Munir, back to you. What for new controllers, somebody who's just starting up as a controller, maybe they've been promoted from accounting manager into controller. For those that are watching, what tips do you have? What suggestions do you have? What takeaways for new controllers that are just starting out in their career?
Yeah, I must say, it's a good question, Marc. The role of a controller is a multifaceted role, actually. It's not limited only to the accounting side. Normally, what we expect from the accounting managers is to manage the accounting side of the business, is to ensure that whatever we report to management, the numbers are accurate enough, which comes out of the books. So the role is more of a that side. But being the controller, you go beyond that, because there are lots of the controllers' policies and procedures which actually extends beyond the finance boundaries as well. It goes to the procurement side, it goes toward the information technology side, it goes to the operations team, it goes to the sales side, it goes to the corporate affairs as well. And being the controller, you need to liaison with the tax and the treasury team as well. So your role is quite vast, actually. So be prepared to learn more. Be prepared to accept more responsibilities, more work as you grow yourself from the accounting manager to controller's role. And because rewards come with the responsibilities as well. So the more you're willing to learn, the more you go into that role kind of thing, because it's a big career jump, it's a big stepping stone to a new world, and in that new world, you are actually at a role, at a position which you can influence actually people. You have to recommend the stuff. You are the one who is trying to implement your own ideas. You are the one who is trying to ensure that balance between the financial numbers and the operations team and the sales team makes sense to the business overall. You have to come up with your strategic plan, which has the initiatives as well, which has a cost saving opportunities as well. So your acumen should shift from accounting to the business side as well. So controller role is quite a big one, and most of people enjoys it as well. And at the beginning is some of the things is challenging for the new person. As the time goes on, you evolve yourself in that role, and it's a nice to have role as compared to when you move from the accounting manager side.
For sure, yeah. Great, thanks for sharing, Munir. Ali, just another minute or two left here, but why did you become a controller? Why did you choose that path, that career path?
My background is finance. I'm a chartered accountant originally from Pakistan, and I've been in accounting and the finance manager position. You call it by different names in different part of the world, but basically it was the same position. So the role which I did for the implementation was actually a one-off for me. So because I was reached out by this company, by Konstant, and they wanted to hire someone with the implementation background as well as the finance background so that I can add the value to the implementation. So that's why I took that job. Excuse me. And what I noticed that was like, I enjoyed thoroughly the time when I was doing the implementation. Because creativity probably is one thing which the accountants slack on, right? But those 2.5 years when I was doing the implementation, that was the time like my creativity was at the peak, that I was creating new processes, procedures, documents, systems, everything was new. So I enjoyed that thoroughly. But because I have a finance background and I wanted to work as finance, so that's why I moved to transition to this role as controller. And now the system implementation, which I did, the understanding of the system comes handy for me while doing my work, day-to-day work or the regular duties, because if you have made something with your own hands, you know it well, right? So it's much more easier for me to do my work with the implementation experience.
Well, thanks very much to both of you for your time. I want to thank everybody for coming to today's event, the Canadian Virtual Controllers Conference. Today's event presented by TorontoJobs.ca and powered by Event Logic with a K.ca. My name is Marc Belaiche, president of TorontoJobs.ca. Our panelist, Aliraza, corporate controller at Konstant with a K, and Munir Malik is controller at Votorantim, Cimentos, St. Mary's Cement. So how did you like the event? Let us know. We'll send you a survey by email to complete within the next 24 hours. Make sure to let us know, because that will help us get information as to what we can do to improve the event for the future. I want to thank all the speakers and the panelists, the exhibitors, the sponsors, and the team also behind the scenes, Alex, Rachel, and Sandra, Sarah, Carla, a lot of people involved behind the scenes. Just again, reminder about the sponsors and exhibitors from today, TorontoJobs.ca. If you have any staffing needs, you have to fill a position, feel free to reach out to our recruitment division. I'm going to post it here in the event chat, sales@TorontoJobs.ca. And if you're looking for a new position, you can email your resume to resumes@TorontoJobs.ca as well. And TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca. If you're an entrepreneur, you're looking to start up a business, or you have an existing business, make sure to visit the website for some upcoming events. And EventLogic.ca, if you'd like to sponsor, exhibit at, or speak at an event, visit the website, EventLogic with a K.ca. And as I mentioned earlier in the opening comments, we have a number of virtual other events coming up as well. We're running 13 or 14 virtual events a month. So I'm sure there's something else for you, including the Canadian Employment Law Conference happening this Friday, June 25th. If you have some employment law issues, you want to hear from employment lawyers, great way to find out. The Canadian Virtual Career Fair, if you are looking for a new position, happens on Tuesday, June 29th. And then the Canadian Virtual CFO Conference happens on Tuesday, July 13th. So the links are in the event chat as well. And then we also have a number of PD options, continuing professional development options. You can see the link that I've included in the chat as well. And overall, we have a number of recruiting division openings. And we also have a couple of positions that I just wanted to mention. We have a controller for accounting services through our TorontoJobs.ca recruiting division. That's in Richmond Hill, Ontario. And then we have a manager of finance role for a non-for-profit in the downtown Toronto area as well. So, and then join all our social media. We have lots of great Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram groups specifically for senior financial people. So you can follow us on Twitter. These are specifically Canadian finance and accounting groups, and we'd love you to join them and network with other members. So I'm just posting them in here. There's 3 great LinkedIn groups that you might want to join. One click to join, very easy, no cost to you. And also we have our Instagram ones as well. So make sure to check it out. And if there's anything I can help you out with, make sure to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm posting my LinkedIn information on here. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channels as well. We have literally hundreds of great videos on all kinds of topics, and you can sign up to that. And as I mentioned earlier, we do tack on another 10 minutes at the end of this event. So you've got 10 minutes that you still have time to network through our speed networking area. Visit our expo and feel free to chat through the sections as well. Again, thanks to all of you, sponsors, exhibitors. Thanks to both of you, Munir and Ali, for being on the panel. And wish you all luck and stay safe, and hope to see you at a future event.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Take care. Thanks so much.